welcome you here this evening. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Just going to mention one thing out of the notice there. I urging everybody to dig out that ballot that you got from the North Dakota Insurance Reserve Fund and get it marked for Burdell Johnson. We're probably going to be seeing some changes coming in the insurance program and how they handle us. It's really beneficial to have somebody like Burdell on the board that's a township officer at heart. If he doesn't get it, park boards will have 2 representatives on the board and townships will have 0. So it's quite important that we get the ballots in for Burdell.
Larry, how can they get a ballot if for some reason they didn't get one? If their clerk didn't get one, or if one didn't get mailed out to their township?
I don't know that there's any way to do it if they didn't. Maybe. Are you sure that they are on the Insurance Reserve Fund insurance? There are some townships that do not participate. I don't know what they use for insurance, but they don't have all of them. Any more questions on that? Well, Jayme, you on there?
I just have a few things for everybody today. I first, of course, have to give my disclosure, as every attorney does at these meetings. Just to let you know that this is general informational purposes and does not constitute legal advice. It's not intended to create or constitute an attorney-client relationship, and you should not act on any of this information without seeking a professional legal counsel of your own. So I just have a few things. I want to talk a few things about open meetings with you, some changes and some things that I've noticed, some questions I've had. There's also some statutory changes that we've been trying to inform everybody of that that you need to make some changes as a township yourself. So first, talking about open meeting issues. Legislator made a change that's actually really favorable. I think Larry worked pretty hard on this. It made a change to the section of the Century Code 4404 19.4, and I believe 580320 as well. And what that does is allows you as township supervisors to be exempt from open meetings laws when you're acting as an employee of the township to do on-site inspections of your township roads within your county or within your township. So now you have the ability to check on your road problems or conditions of the roadways and act as employees without having to worry about violating open records and open meetings laws. What you must do, though, what the statute does require you to do is make a good faith effort to provide notice of the inspections to the media or your local newspaper. If it has filed a written request for the notices of meetings. So other than having to do that, you can go out and check on your roads, have a conversation, have the quorum actually at the road inspections in order to try to make sure your roads are as best as possible and not have to worry about violating open meetings laws. Larry, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think that pretty much covers that issue.
Okay. We've got Senate Bill 2180. 2180 was a change that was made statewide to all government subdivisions, and it's something that we're required to do. Senate Bill 2180 made a change to section the Century Code 4404 20.1. And what that is it requires government subdivisions, whether it's a county commission, the city or any city, and the townships, to adopt a public comment requirement, a public comment section, I should say, of your meetings. So you must have a public comment policy and a public comment section within your meetings. This was statutorily required to be adopted by every government subdivision by August 1st of 2025. Within that, you can state the who gets to address, or what topics get to be addressed during that public comment section, which typically would be an agenda topic from the current agenda or an agenda topic from the meeting prior to that. You can set the time limit to 3, 5, 10 minutes per person, and you can set the time limit to of the whole section. So if you have a half an hour public comment section, you can state that everybody is done talking within that half an hour, and you can move on. It was done for a couple different reasons. One, because there were some counties, I believe it was, in the western part of the state that weren't allowing people to address the commission. Also, it gives you a little bit of ability to at least direct the conversation, limit what is said, and to limit the amount of time that people address you as a board as well. If you want to take a look, the board for the North Dakota Township Officers Association actually adopted their own public comment policy. That's on the webpage. If you want to take a look at that and use that as a sample for your own, you're more than welcome to do that. And I think Larry can email it to you as well. But this was something that was statutorily required to be done August 1st. So if you haven't done it, I would advise doing it at your next meeting.
Okay,
Next
on that,
is, go ahead, Larry.
we also have a fillable form for that. A policy that you can get fillable PDF on the website. Just to fill in your township name and the date on which you adopted this policy, and print it off and put it in your record book somewhere so you got it in case you're ever asked.
I can tell you guys, I'm the state's attorney in Griggs County. I have yet to see this being utilized by the public. I don't see that it's really going to change the meetings at all. It's not going to be an additional burden. It's a policy that we have to have. But it really hasn't changed anything as far as the application of the way meetings are run. We've had it since last July, and it just really hasn't changed anything.
Right. What was I going to say? The important thing is to have it in place. I guess I lost my train of thought on that.
Yeah, like Larry said, it's important to have adopted it. It needed to be done by August 1st, so do it as soon as your next meeting is if you haven't done it. And like I said, Larry has either a fillable PDF, or you can use the one that we have on the Township Officers Association website as a pattern. Next, just really quickly, I just want to make sure that for those of you who haven't had a chance to cover this, this was also something that was a March 31st deadline of this past couple weeks, I guess, to have completed, was the floodplain management ordinances for townships. Now, I think most townships have the county managing their floodplains. If you do manage your floodplain yourself and have floodplain zoning and ordinances, just make sure that you get this done as quickly as possible. In order to be covered by a national flood insurance, it's something that needs to be done, so you're in compliance. If you need to still do it, get in contact with your emergency manager. They can walk you through it and give you the contact information for Tyler at the state as well. One final thing I want to touch on is just it's the spring of the year, so I'm guessing we'll have some section line issues and some section line questions that are going to be coming up. So I just wanted to briefly cover section lines. Just that section lines are open for public travel. 33 feet on each side of the boundary line is open for public travel. That's in 240703. Obstructions. Landowners are not permitted to have obstructions on the section line. That's 240719 and 240729. Notice to remove obstructions. You as a township must give notice to the landowners to remove the obstructions from the section line. Typically, the township shall give the landowner time to remove the obstruction. I think the statute actually outlines 30 days. If not removed, the property owner can be billed or assessed for removing that obstruction, or the cost of the township for removing that obstruction. And again, that's covered under Chapter 24, and that's under 0629 and 240623. One last thing, I know I've had some questions about this, about improvement of a section line by the landowner. So if a person has surface interest in a parcel of land and either is connected to another parcel of land that they have surface interest, or to a highway, that landowner may petition the county commission where there's unorganized townships, or the township supervisors in an organized township, to authorize the petitioner to improve the section line. And that is actually for the purpose of travel for agricultural purposes. The statute doesn't cover anything else. But the petition may be approved if the section line cannot be traveled due to difficult terrain, and the petitioner does not have an alternative route. Now, you as a township, you're not obligated to approve that petition, but you may approve it. And again, all this is done at the landowner's expense. That's covered under Century Code 2407 -03.1. That is a quick lesson today. I guess that's all I have for you. If you have any questions.
Question. On the obstruction of a section line, if the farmer tills the section line out, is that considered an obstruction?
It's not. The farmer can farm up. I guess the law allows the farmer to till right up to the boundary line. If the farmer farms on both sides of the section line, it allows them to farm right through the section line. Now, that doesn't mean that road can't be traveled. The farmer can't till the road, so it can't be traveled. And when you farm through a section line, that you're open to having that field run down or tracked down if someone uses that section line for normal travel. So I guess I can tell you, I farm in my practice. We farm right up to the boundary lines to keep the weeds down. And if someone drives on them, they drive on them. I guess that's the risk that we take farming that section line. But it does keep the weeds down for us. So our typical practice is actually to farm the section lines, but make it so it can be traveled. Any other questions?
We got a little
There was
different slant on that coming up out of the Minot area. Township up there called the other day. They've got some school land trust lands in their township, and there are trees growing up in the right of way. It's a real hazard to traffic going through there, and they're trying to get the state to remove the obstacles, the obstructions. And the state trust people are claiming that under 240626.2, the adjacent landowner is not responsible for cleaning the ditch. thinking that that refers to removing obstructions. I have had a discussion this morning, some emails with a state senator from up there who's looking into it at the request of the township. And he wants to look at just how many more cases of this there might be in the state where the state is negligent dealing with these obstructions on section lines.
We have such an example in our township, actually just a mile north of my house, state land, trees growing up in the ditch that haven't been cut out and cleaned up. So I'm sure it's not a limited example that you have.
Right. I'm sure it wouldn't be limited. In this case, the estimate would be about $1 million to clean out the trees. So you might expect the state would try to claim that they're exempt from it for some reason or another.
As far as mowing and some of the other stuff, I lease some state land, and it's right in the leasee's contract that they're supposed to be doing all the mowing on the ditches and removing the obstructions out of the road ditches.
Well, that's an interesting topic, Larry. I'll have to get with you after this and see if there's something that we can do for the townships.
Yeah, that's Egg Creek Township in Ward County that had that problem up there. Oh, I got one other thing here back on the public comment policy. If you go to on the web page, you're on the home screen right now.
Yeah, you're on the NDTOA home screen.
Okay, go up here to resources, forms. On the list of forms, we have
Public
other
comment right
forms,
there.
public comment policy. And there's a fillable form. You just enter your township name up here and the policy or approval date here and then print it out. There you'd have it. Okay.
Sue, I see a question that was asked in the comments from Sue. Does the township have to allow anyone to speak at a meeting, or can it limit the open comments to township residents? So actually, Sue, what the public comment policy is, it requires each person that wants to make a public comment, it requires them to sign up prior to the meeting. And they have to give their name, give the topic that they want to speak about. And if you adopt a policy so that they only can speak on the previous agenda or the current agenda, they're limited to those comments. Now, as far as whether they're township residents or not, I believe that you're going to have to allow anybody that wants to sign up for the public comment to speak. But again, it's limited to those topics of the previous agenda and the current agenda.
Okay, I'm not too worried about it. I was more asking it because a certain city in my county likes to try and limit people from out in the county from talking.
Okay.
And if nobody signs up ahead of your meeting or by the time the meeting starts, I mean, you don't have to sit there for 30 minutes because we got 30 minutes is our public comment. If you don't have anybody signed up, you don't have to sit and wait 30 minutes.
That's right, Dale. Also, and that's a good comment to make too, because you have a choice of whether you want to put it at the beginning of the meeting or at the end of the meeting. And I think our specific policy says that it's at the beginning of the meeting, and that's typically what I've seen is the public comments are done at the beginning of the meeting, so they don't have to sit through the entire meeting. And typically, I actually haven't seen that used yet. In any of the county or the city I'm in.
The one on the website, this fillable one, does say that it would be in the beginning of the meeting, unless it may be at some other time in a written agenda. So if you have a written agenda, you can put it anywhere on that written agenda. Just as long as you don't go and say, well, you can't talk now because we're gonna do it some other time, and just, draw some other time out of your hat. Just to shut them up again. But,
Larry, on the policy that you were showing off the homepage under forms, I was trying to read it, but it wasn't there long enough. I'm pretty slow. I thought it said something about a public comment card, or they need to fill out a card. Is there an example of that card also in the forms?
no, that's just refers to filling out a sheet, or I guess we could come up with a card if there's a demand for it. We could come up with something to add.
Well, or every township's going to have to come up with one.
The ones
Right.
I've seen have just had name, address, topic.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's really simple. That's all you have to have.
We can have one just as simple as during the open meeting part, you have up to 5 minutes. That's it, can't we?
Certainly.
I mean, we
Certainly.
don't think we should have to have this card and all this stuff. I mean, we're pretty open. If people want to talk, we believe they should be able to talk. I mean, we'd like to keep it
Well,
just super simple. We looked at that thing and it was like, that's fine maybe if you're constantly fighting with all the people in your township, but we're not.
Yeah, and it can be as
Well,
simple
no.
as you want. And you can develop whatever policy you want. You just have to have a policy.
Okay.
This,
the
I guess, this was one of the policies that was circulated amongst a bunch of government attorneys. Is really what it was, and I found it and made some changes for the townships, and I thought it was probably the most suitable one that we use, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we see it
that's
as we're all neighbors. We can talk whenever, in our meetings, we're pretty open that way, but I can see where if we have to limit it, we can.
right.
I mean,
And I guess the
because we encourage it through the whole meeting, and
really the biggest thing with this is for bigger jurisdictions, bigger city councils or county commissions where
okay.
there are tumultuous issues. Townships, it's probably not as necessary
I
because,
mean,
like
we're
you
a pretty
said, we're
big
all
township. We
neighbors.
got a lot of people and stuff from that end, but we still believe everyone should be, we want their input,
I've seen a lot of different boards, and I think a lot of this may stem from different forums, like school board meetings that have a lot of conflicts, and other parts of government, maybe more than our townships do. That might be the instrument where it was started.
That's right, Paul. I mean, so oftentimes the legislators they get someone brings a problem to them, they legislate for everybody, and it may have just been one problem, and that's what happened. It was there were hot topics in one of the other government subs, and this is what we get from it.
I believe this came from a school board up in the Minot area. Prime sponsor on it was Senator Paulson from Minot. And I think it came from a school board up there that wouldn't let people talk. Now, township meetings, they're basically a public comment period, the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's what we saw, and we didn't, when we looked at it, it was like, we don't want to have this. We don't want to have any policy. We just want to be able to talk, but The legislature says we have to have something, so I
you
can
may
see where
suddenly,
having like the supervisor can invoke a 5-minute max or something, you know.
right. But you could find that all of a sudden you have some kind of a controversy in your township, and you may have strange people coming into your meetings wanting to talk.
Yep, and that's what I mean. Have your supervisor can say it's limited to the open meeting time, and you're limited to this. You know,
Right.
but otherwise, we encourage open discussion all the time. Otherwise,
Yeah, well,
call in if you have to.
that's why you want a copy of this policy in the back of your record book so you can pull it out in that case when it's needed, if it's ever needed. So, anything more on the open meetings, the public comment period? Any other questions out there?
I got one comment, Larry, on the floodplain management and even on the zoning. If you're adopting your county's ordinances, don't just say that you're doing it. Actually, put a motion, a second, and a vote that you did it so you've got it in your minutes. It might one day save you a lot of grief if somebody gets to arguing whether you are zoned or whether you're in the floodplain.
Perhaps even having a resolution to that effect.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Thank you, Sue.
On that same train of thought, we've had several townships in Grand Forks County who want to basically redo their zoning because it's very out of date. And they've asked us for some assistance on how to do that. So I've sort of put together a real basic how to do to the best of my knowledge using the state statutes. I'd love to have somebody who's really up on township zoning take a look at that. If anybody,
My goal, I guess, over the next few months is to try to get something put together.
okay, Jayme, I'm going to email you.
If you want to email it to me, that'd be great.
Yep, awesome.
And that reminded me of something too. We're still working on the pattern zoning ordinances for data centers. We actually have a meeting tomorrow afternoon that I'm gonna hop on for a little while, but that's still something that's in the works. So we should have hopefully some pattern ordinances within, I don't know, the next few months, I think.
That's awesome.
I think it's good that people are paying attention to this, because I don't think this is going to go away. I was in DC in February for the National Association of Counties meetings, and data centers and zoning was a pretty hot topic. There's actually, I thought North Dakota was kind of at a pioneer, or kind of the first area that this stuff was going. There's actually a county just south of DC. It's Laurel County, Virginia. They have somewhere around 200 data centers in a 10-mile radius. So there are other counties throughout the nation that are way more versed than us in this. But it's something it appears that it's not going away. So we probably should be prepared for it. We're not going to be able to zone things out, but you're going to be able to use zoning to protect the interests of those who are there.
I saw in late March, South Dakota passed a law which makes it so that the townships do have the final word on whether data centers can be located.
Okay. I'm guessing this zoning these zoning situations are probably going to be something that are going to be addressed at the legislature, and it's something that we probably are going to have to start working on soon.
I have a question, might sound kind of stupid. Our township isn't zoned, and in my mind, we follow county zoning. Are all counties zoned? And who would be the keeper of that knowledge? Is it like the county auditor or the county superintendents or whatever you call
Wayne,
them?
not all counties are zoned. For instance, in the recall election in 2013, Griggs County had zoning and had a zoning administrator. The new commissioners, they abandoned or repealed all the zoning ordinances, so there's no zoning in the county. It was left back to the townships. I would guess that smaller, more rural counties don't have zoning. I shouldn't say not all of them would have zoning. And I guess I kind of am of the opinion now with everything that's coming into the counties and the townships that you might want to look out for yourselves, because your interest may be a little bit different than someone on the other side of the county, or even maybe the neighboring township. One of the things that I've noticed now, being out and about with the townships and with the counties, is that if you go to the east side of North Dakota and the west side of North Dakota, there's been a lot more development that's happened, especially big oil development or just development period on the east side of the state. So a lot of those counties and townships have zoning and are more well versed in it. But if you come up the gut to North Dakota, I don't know if I should say we're naive, but we don't have as much experience with the development, and I think that's where we're behind in the state right now, as if you come up the central part of the state.
My county trail, all the townships here are zoned, and the county really has no zoning function here, so
I believe Cass and Richland are the same.
that's my understanding also, right?
So, just a theoretical. So, big company comes in and says, "I'm going to put up a wind farm or a hog farm or whatever in your county." There's nothing that controls that at all. If the
township.
county's not, but if the township's not zoned, and
All
the county's not
townships-
zoned,
All townships in trail are zoned.
no. But I'm talking Lemoore County. If Lemoore County's not zoned and our township's not zoned, who has say?
Nobody.
Or is it a free for all?
There's some setback regulations that the PSC has, and the PSC has some zoning authority, or has some authority for citing. There is some statutory language for a confined feeding operation, and I think it's the health department that has some control over that. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at state interest at that point, so if you want to look out for yourself, zoning would be the way to go.
Livestock sites, confined feeding operations, whatever, come under the Department of Environmental Quality. And there is a state statute which specifies the setbacks that are allowable. And basically the law is that your ordinances cannot be more stringent than the state is. You can be more gentle, more generous than the state, but not more stringent. Your setback has to be no more than what the state.
So what I think I'm hearing is, if the county's not zoned, the township's not zoned, you have the state law, and that's it.
Wherever the state does cover it.
Right. If it's something not covered in a state law, like a setback for a wind farm or setback for a hog farm or something like that, basically, company can do what they want.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Any more on zoning or whatever there? Well, we got one other thing that's, I don't know how many of your townships, of anybody that's on tonight, have a website. We now have a requirement that websites become ADA compliant. Practically every website has to be up to handicap standards, or you'll be subject to possible lawsuits if somebody files an objection on it. So, and we expect before too long there will be law firms that will be surveying websites, just looking for one that they can file a suit against. So,
But there's no requirement for a website, correct?
for what?
There's no requirement for a township website.
To have one? No, you don't have to have a
Okay.
website. But if you have one, you're going to have to check it and make sure that it's complies with the ADA requirements. There are requirements that your text and background have to be contrasting, so text is easy to read, and there has to be it all has to be so that the text reader can read it, things like that. So gotta make sure all your documents are up to standards.
Sounds like a good reason to not go down that road.
Yeah.
And
Easier to
start a
get rid of it.
website.
Well, in some cases, it may cause sites to go dark if they can't afford to get them brought up to standards.
No,
So
ambulance chasing lawyers are quite a problem.
that's not doing anybody any good either. So, but just don't want anybody with a website to get caught unaware that that's in the works. Sounds like better have it in shape by April of next year. The large cities have to have it now as of this April. The larger jurisdictions, that is. So, any other topics anybody wants to talk about tonight?
I'd like to thank all the township officers, Larry, that have logged on with us tonight for joining us.
Yes, of course, we appreciate those that take the time to sit in here and especially those that have participated in the discussion. That's the goal of this is to answer your questions, and we can all learn a little bit from each
Well,
other's questions.
thanks for always doing this.
So, we did miss a couple of months, when we were out doing the workshop tour in February. That was a little impossible to set that up, and then last month in March, I was out in Bismarck, and I was at the transportation conference, and when I got back to my office, I found that I'd left my hotspot set up at the booth in the conference, so I had no way to get online to that evening. So we missed that one. Now we're going to try to get going on it again, and hopefully people will get the message that we are trying to be in business again on this. So we it would really help, those that, if you got a question, bring it out. It adds more fuel for our fire, so. Any other questions out there? We'll, looks like we're gonna get out of here a little bit early tonight if nobody's got anything more to give us some excitement. We'll again, we'll just say thank you and think of more questions, and you can always email your questions into me ahead of time so we can work up an answer for you and be prepared. So with that, I guess we'll say good night. And again, thanks a whole lot for being here tonight.
Thank you, Larry.